What is up, guys? Aaron here, Curls in the Rack, back again with another video. This time I'm going to show you guys exactly how I made my DIY trolley system here in my garage, and I'm going to try to go through it as best I can. But before I start on that, I just want to say one thing, and that is there's a lot of effort that goes into my videos and other content creators' videos. Not necessarily my channel, other people put in a lot of effort, and the only way that we can bring you this sort of stuff and spend tons of time developing these things and then sharing with you is these affiliate links. Now, everybody has the same exact affiliate links, but I challenge you to take into consideration which accounts bring you the most value, or which accounts are just putting a beer on top of a bumper plate or sharing somebody else's garage gym that has nothing to do with them. So I'll stop ranting and let's go ahead and get to the build. Alright guys, here it is, closer look at the trolley system that I built. Now, I will say this, the reason I built this thing is because I sort of missed having a trolley system from the days that I had the lever arms from Rogue Fitness. But there were some things I didn't like about them, so I wanted to change it up, and ultimately I just wanted to challenge myself to see if I could actually make a trolley system, and it worked out really well, and that's why I wanted to show you guys how I did it. Now, I don't have the footage of me going through the whole making of this like I normally do on some of my other videos, just because I didn't know if it was going to work out, and I sort of pieced it together as I went and tried different things, and it turned out well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys exactly what I built, and I will show you exactly what all the parts are. I will have a list in the description of this video of all the parts that I use and where to get them, and we'll go from there. So first of all, the first step I took was to make the side brackets. Now, the side brackets consist of a piece of metal right here, 1/4 inch mild steel, 1/4 inch mild steel here, and then I have a little bit thicker of a piece of metal in the middle here. Not because you necessarily need that, but because that's just what I had laying around. I had all these spare parts from Rogue. These brackets here, or this metal here, I should say, I got from Home Depot. One piece of it that I use on the whole thing cost me $30. So I will link that in the description, exactly what I use there too. Now, so getting back to it, the first step I did was to make these sort of eye brackets. So this piece in the front was not here. This piece in the front was not here. The rollers aren't there. This pin isn't here. And the UHM plastic isn't there. After I made those, and how I did that was, and I'll show a picture here of what they look like before I was finished. How I made those was I made sure that when I put it up onto my upright, I had enough clearance to drill holes in the side of each one of them to make sure that I could get these rollers here through. And this is just a bolt, spacers, washers, and then these roller systems that took me the longest time to find what I was going to use for these roller systems, because I didn't want to use plastic rollers. I wanted a rubber roller that would kind of stick to the upright when you're rolling it, but also move very well, and I'll have the link for that down there in the description. But I put it up on there and I pinned it, right? I pinned both of these brackets up on my rack. And I also cut out this UHM plastic and I glued it onto these brackets. Now, the reason I did that is because I wanted to know how snug I needed to get it to put this back bracket on here. Now, this back bracket is, actually it's the front bracket, I should say. You could put it on the back, but for my situation, I have the stack back there where I was going to throw it on my upright, so I need to go from the front. And the way, or the reason I should say that I did this is because there's a lot of trolley systems that is like a piece of plastic, and these are from legit companies. And what they say to do is, yeah, well, all you have to do is remove your cross members and then, you know, put it over the upright and then you put your cross members. It's super easy. And I'm like, that's not really that super easy. I'd rather be able to remove mine, put it wherever I want, you know, a little easier than disassembling my rack. So that's why there's the open space in the back portion here. That way it can slide on you can snap this pin into place. It'll secure it up there. Then you also have this pin here you can put through there, so that secures it. And you can put your back rollers on, and then it's super snug. It's not going anywhere. So I put this up there, measured exactly where I was going to put my holes. I took the 2 brackets and I put them on my drill press, and I drilled holes straight. And as I was drilling the holes, I put the bolts in them in each spot, just so there was no sort of wiggle room, and I didn't want to get off at all on the holes. So that was me just making sure that each hole lined up, because all they needed to do was line up on each side. The next thing I did was I took those 2 brackets and I bolted it all together, right? So it was snug on the rack, but I made sure that it was able to slide on there. I didn't want it too snug. And after I did that, I measured what the distance was between the 2 on this one, because I was going to put this metal. Once I measured that distance, I cut these out, and then what I did was I welded it right on the upright, just because I didn't want a chance of my measurements to be off if I took this off, took it outside, or wherever I was going to weld it. So I literally sandwiched these together, put these up, and I used these, I'll show you what I used in the description here down in the link, but I used these magnets that would hold this side. I welded that side. Once you're done welding that side, you can pretty much take the magnets off. I welded that side, did the same thing with the bottom portion. Now, after I did that, I had my bracket. What I did was I took this handle right here, which is a knurled handle that I got off of an old dumbbell when I was doing my power block handle upgrade. Decided to go with the fat one, so I didn't need this one anymore. So it was just laying around. You can find these things on OfferUp. Get a 10-pound dumbbell that some person has just randomly sitting. I'm sure you can get it really cheap. Cut the heads off of them, and then what I did was I took this had a hole in the top. This piece of metal here. This piece of metal had a hole in the top as well, and I put it in there, sandwiched these together. I welded it on there, so it was in there, but it was it could move freely. And then I just welded the top portion. As you can see, I didn't do the best job on it. There's still some holes there, but you can do, take it as far as you want. It's fine. It's welded on there. It's not going anywhere. I didn't even do the bottom portion of it here. So I had this handle on the one side. On the other side, this is a spring pin that you can get on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description, just like you'd see on legit pieces of fitness equipment. And I took that, I cut a hole in the back side of it so that this pin would go through. And I made sure that when I lined it up so that every time this thing popped into one of the holes on the side, this piece would also line up. So that way it can be locked and secured in 2 spots. This is the most important, but this one works great. And sometimes if I'm doing light pulls on the pulley system, I don't even put this pin in. It's not necessary. UHM on the middle and UHM on the front portion. Now the front portion, I wanted to make it so I could attach different things. I'll have a video on the first attachment which I made, which is an articulating pulley system, so you can roll it up anywhere you want, and then you can remove that if you want to throw on a different attachment. And the next attachment that I'll be making will be an attachment so you can attach a lever arm and basically anything else that you can attach in a 5/8 hole on an upright. So that'll be coming next, and this is it. Okay guys, so why don't I show you exactly how I attach this to my upright over there, but we're over here, so that is how I'm going to show you. Now, your uprights are going to have more holes in the sides. Mine is an upright off of the fold-out rack, so I don't have the holes in the side, but that's okay. I'm using it over there anyways, doesn't matter. So it pops this pin into place into any of the holes. Now, normally I have a hole down here, so I would also secure it here, but I don't have one. All right, so what I do is I just take this galvanized bolt. It was the cheapest thing I could find, and it works great. Put the 2 washers here on this side. Then I go ahead and I throw the spacer on here. Then I go ahead and put it through my roller like this. And then I throw my other spacer on. Then I throw the 2 more washers on here, the final 2 washers, just to get rid of that tiny bit of gap. Then this pops through here, lines up with the hole, and I put another bolt on the end of it. Now, I decided to just put the bolts on instead of locking washers because I didn't want it pushing the metal in and making this tighter on here. I wanted smooth transitions when I'm changing height with this thing. So that is basically what I do, and I'll show you how it slides so you can see for yourself that it's pretty legit. We don't have a lot of space in between these 2 things to slide, but basically this is how it works. It just pops into the next pin, and it is a lot easier to move this guy than the Rogue Fitness trolley arms, mostly because they're just so heavy on the front. They kind of pull towards the front, and I realize I don't have an attachment on here right now, but even if I did, it still moves a lot smoother. So hopefully you guys might want to make this. And a lot of times I see in the comment section, wow, that's so cool, but that's above my skill level. Well, let me tell you this, I don't really have any skills. I just piece this together. I don't have any background in building this kind of stuff, so please don't think that you shouldn't try something just because you've never tried it before. The next video is going to be my first attachment. So my first attachment is this guy, and that's why I have the UHM plastic up here, so that way I don't scratch this thing up every time I put something on here. So this attachment I made with a little lip, and I'll make the other one with a little lip too. That way when you hang it up here, you can screw it in easier without having to hold it. So the articulating pulley system will be the next video I do, and then I will get to work on future attachments. So hopefully you guys like the video. If you like the video, subscribe. Always come out with new things. I have the Maverick bar initial review coming out soon. Until next time, guys. Peace.